Mayor, we're ready to go.
Okay.
I always, at the beginning of this, I always paste in our welcome message at the top of the comment. Oops. Wrong one. Thank you. So thanks. It's great to join you today, Mayor. It's Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. As usual, I'd like to start off with our COVID numbers as a continuing public health message that we've been doing since we started these video chats with Mayor Rainey a year or so ago. Our numbers, as everybody knows, the Omicron virus has been surging dramatically. The case rate for the city as of January 9th was 1,409 active cases. Probably a lot more out there that just haven't been tested or identified. That's up from about 836 a week or so ago, 120 before that, and it was down in the double digits for months on end before that. So this surge is really meaningful. I think the issue is in part just hospital staffing capacity. Obviously, the Omicron is less severe as an illness than the Delta. I think has been pretty well identified. Vaccination is highly recommended, obviously, for people's health and for the health of their family members and others, or people who might not be eligible for the vaccine yet. It's great to see that the city's vaccination number continues to increase. It hit 88.6 this past week. That's come up a lot. Not that long ago, it was in the low 80s, the 70s. Back in September, it was 76.7. So our people are definitely getting vaccinated, and that's a good thing.
Andy, that 88.6, is that the first vaccination or what does that show?
I think that is, I think you're right about that, Mayor, that it's people who have gotten at least their first shot who are eligible for it. So that I don't think they've changed their method on that. So it does represent the change over time. But yeah, so I think it's the first shot. Doesn't necessarily include all boosters and all that as well. This is information that's available from the Westchester County COVID data portal. We link to that on our Facebook page, which is the city's way of getting news out, which is timely or changing. So we put a lot of our events and notices and press releases and so on Facebook. So yeah, we just continue to support. And as far as COVID safety, the council is continuing to meet remotely for council of the wholes. We have hybrid meetings for the common council meetings. We're considering moving completely virtual for the common council. I think the council needs to make a determination about that on Monday, if the meeting on the 24th will be virtual or not.
Yeah, we are. Council is discussing that. At last night's meeting, everyone was asked to kind of email in and let us know what their thoughts were. Just want to go back to protecting yourself in terms of this Omicron virus. It is here. You can see it everywhere. In our own city hall, we have staff out. There's staffing issues in schools. There's staffing issues everywhere. So it's affecting all. And the only way to protect yourself is with vaccinations and being safe with masks. That being said, we did get a distribution of the N95 masks from the county. So on this Wednesday, tomorrow from 3 to 5, everyone should know that we will be doing a mask handout from City Hall. The Deputy Mayor Riley and myself will be handing out masks to individuals between 3 and 5. Just walk up. They are for Peekskill residents, so you will be asked if you're a Peekskill resident, but it's important. And as we move forward, it's really strongly suggested that you're wearing these types of masks. So come and get them, and they're free.
Yeah, we'd love to give them out. We encourage them. We require mask use inside the building. And when people come through the door, right now we're using the intercom system, which we had during the height of the Delta surge. And that enables our staff to talk to people outside the door and then arrange for them to enter if needed in a way that's sort of staggered, so that we don't have people coming within 6 feet of each other as they come through the lobby and wait for service. Usually they're going to the clerk's office or down to finance to pay a parking ticket or something like that. So we really appreciate the patience and understanding of our wonderful city residents and customers while we try to kind of control access to preserve social distancing. City Hall is absolutely open. We want to serve you. We just need to do it in a way that's a little different.
Yeah, that's safe for not only the public, but for our staff as well.
And we have had a number of staff out on COVID quarantines. The state actually just changed the quarantine terms down to 5 days instead of 10. So that'll enable people to come back from work a little faster, as long as their doctor agrees to that, essentially.
And that they're symptom free, correct?
Right. Yeah, they have to be symptom free, and they have to keep using a mask for 5 days, which we would do anyway here. But the quarantine terms have changed as per CDC and state public health guidance. They made it, instead of 10-day quarantine, down to 5. So that helps us out a little bit, as long as people are cautious about their social contacts. I want to mention, sorry, Mayor, go ahead.
A lot of moving parts with this and
Yeah,
changing every day.
Yeah, that's true. So a couple other things that I think are important to talk about. Last night, the city council had a meeting, and there was a public hearing on the affordable housing ordinance. We received probably 10 or 12 comments from members of the public. The city council discussed. I don't know if Mayor, if you want to recap that discussion a little bit.
Yeah, we had a really good discussion. We had a lot of people that came out and really spoke with compassion. A lot of people with statistics and data. So it's really good to hear from the community. As we know, this is a policy that we need to have on our books. It's important that we get this done. Again, it's not a policy that is going to solve affordable housing in Peekskill or anywhere. It's a huge issue all over the country, all over the world. But what we're trying to do is, as new development comes in, to make sure we don't miss the opportunity where private developers are coming in and not having anything available for affordable housing. So I want to thank everybody who was out last night, and most people were by Zoom because it was cold out, but they took the time to come out and really let the council know how they felt about it. So we truly appreciate all that, and we hope to move forward with this on our next council meeting.
Yep, no, I think we're ready for a vote on that. And so look forward to that being on the agenda. It's taken a lot of work. Rose Noonan from the Housing Action Group acted as a consultant on that and provided a lot of good advice. The planning department, Gene Friedman, a lot of policy research with myself and others in the city council. I think we're in a position to go forward. There'll always be some differences, but we need to get a law in place so that market rate developments can't go through and have no affordable housing at all in them.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. And we've seen that. We have a lot of development going on here, and we've missed opportunity. So it is really time to get this on the book so that we can enforce this. And, it's a moving part. As I said, we're going to have to continue to look at other options. It won't solve everything, but it'll be a start.
Yep. No, that's well said. So we've got that going on. I wanted to also mention just give some credit to our staff following up on the snowstorm that happened on Friday morning. Really started in the middle of the night. It was kind of a good shakedown for our system here because it wasn't a big snowstorm, but it was enough to bring everybody out, and it needed to be cleared in a timely way. People worked through the night. They managed to keep on going to even pick up the recycling later in the day. There was some good collaboration with the police department. We mentioned this last night. The police went out in areas where people typically violate the winter parking regulation. They actually went out and flyered windshields so that people will be reminded that the snow is coming and that they're going to have to move their car and be in compliance with the winter parking regulation. Because if people don't move their car, we can't clear the snow.
Exactly.
And then you end up with these weird piles and people digging out, and it's a mess and it's not safe.
And while you say this lightly, Andy, I think people should really know that our DPW staff and our police department have been impacted by COVID. So we have, not as many people on board that we usually do. And for the fact that they were able to do this in a team effort and really take care of our city and keep it safe and did it in such an effective way is a really big feat. I don't think people realize that we did get a lot of comments and people were very happy, and it's good to hear, positive comments. And we like to make sure that our crew knows that they're being acknowledged. But this was something that wasn't a lot of snow, but with a lower staff numbers, it was difficult, and our departments prevailed. So kudos to them, and thank you for all their hard work.
And just on that, Mayor, I wanted to, oh, sorry, my phone just rang. I just wanted to mention for folks who are wondering whether or not to write in with a feedback, obviously we get complaints and we get we get people with the eyes and ears in the community talking about potholes or hazardous tree or whatever you got. We appreciate that. Even people who write in and say, hey, there's a mistake on your website, we appreciate that. We also really appreciate the positive feedback. And when we get a letter or a comment, we forward it to the department head who then speaks to their staff. It's actually really meaningful and appreciated. People just love getting that kind of feedback, and it helps them show up for work with the same enthusiasm every day to serve the public. So please don't hesitate to send in those comments. If you see something, please say something, let us know, positive or negative. It really makes a difference.
It does, agreed.
For that. We try to do as much employee recognition as we can. Actually, last night, the chief of police introduced two individual police officers who were recently promoted to lieutenant, talking a little bit about their history. We want our community to see the faces of our staff in meetings. We're going to try to bring them in more and talk about them more so that you can see who the people really are who are doing this work, whether it's public safety or road safety or administrative services and so on. It's just important to us that the public actually knows who we are and kind of what's getting done behind the scenes. So thanks for those comments and sending in your feedback. We appreciate it. I wanted to mention also, apropos of the snow thing, that the city has implemented its new sidewalk snow removal law, which have been debated with public hearings and so on. The city council passed it. It enables the city to hire contractors to clear snow from sidewalks where the property owners have not met the deadline for removal. The deadline for removal is 4 hours after the end of snowfall in the commercial areas and 24 in residential, which is longer than it used to be for residential. We did go out, the DPW worked together with the building department. The building department identified sidewalks are in violation, refer them to the DPW. We had a landscaper chipping away at the ice and throwing salt down and making it safe for pedestrians. Those costs will be placed on the property tax bill going forward. And there's a process in place for people to get that information, appeal it if they need to, and so on, all according to law. But we want to make sure that our pedestrians are safe when they're on the sidewalks.
And I think we need to bring out that we've changed the snow removal law. So for the residential areas, it gives you a little bit longer versus where it was 4 hours, it's now 24 hours. But that's so, if it stops snowing in the middle of the day and you're at work and you can't get home to do that, we are cognizant of that. However, we've left it the same for commercial businesses because, those are businesses that are open, or those sidewalks are open all day long to people. And we really need to make sure that the public is safe in those commercial districts. So that's the differentiator between there. And, it's not that we're trying to find and harm people. We're just trying to keep our city safe. And we've had a lot of repeat offenders. So we're hoping that this is going to make people really think about the safety of everyone and do the right thing and clear the sidewalks.
Yeah, what's great, Mayor, is that the vast majority of property owners do clear their sidewalks, and we really thank them for that. Think about all the kids walking to school, people walking their dogs. Like, these sidewalks get used a lot, and it's very much appreciated that so many property owners are right on it, clearing those walkways. And it's just part of living in a community. So thank you for your support on that, everybody out there. Another thing I just want to mention, the city council is looking for nominations of two different types right now. One of them is a city council vacancy. Mayor, would you like to talk about that a bit?
Yes, so now that I'm mayor, my seat is open. So we are looking for someone to fill that seat. We're asking interested residents who have been residents for at least 3 years here in the city of Peekskill to please submit their resume and a letter of interest to the clerk here in City Hall, Deborah Petrosky. You can send it by mail to 840 Main Street. You can also email it as well to dpetrosky@cityofpeekskill.com. The deadline for that is January 18th. Once we have received all the letters of interest by that date, they'll be reviewed by the council, and we'll have an interview process, and would like to have someone appointed to that seat, relatively soon.
Yeah, thank you for that. The city is also recruiting nominations for Black History Month recognition as well. Would you like to say a word about that?
Yes, so we have amazing people in our community. During Black History Month, we like to recognize people who've made an impact or a change in our community. The deadline for that is January 14th.
14th.
it's 14th, correct?
Mhm.
If you know someone that you would like to nominate, there's an application online. You can go online and pull that up and send it to the clerk as well. We ask that you get that in as soon as possible. Those people will be recognized during Black History Month. And it's really a great way of recognizing people in the community.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a form you can download off the website that you can fill out and talk about the nominee and so on. So yeah. So we've got that. Let's see, what else should we talk about, Mayor? Any other topics come to mind that are important to talk about right now?
I think everything's important, but it's not coming to mind.
Let's switch over to some of the Facebook comments and see what we've got.
Perfect.
Someone's just saying, good afternoon. Thanks for doing this. This person saying that we don't do enough parking enforcement. There is parking enforcement. It's not everywhere all the time, but it's understood that we probably always need more. We have one very active enforcement official right now.
And he's very active.
And we thank him for that. I think his wife just had a baby too. So yeah, more parking enforcement. We hear that. One of the problems we have is people double parking, actually, particularly on Park Street, going up from the gazebo towards the supermarket. It's a big problem with double parking there. So we have our police focused on that as well.
Yeah, I had spoke to the chief about that. It's not only there, but it's also up on the top of North Division, kind of where North Division hits Cortlandt Street, where the stores are there. So the chief is looking into that. There's more, they're driving through there more to try to prevent that. I think people have to realize that these are not kind of like the boroughs where you can double park and put your flashers on and run into a store. Our streets are not equipped that way. So we're asking our residents to really don't double park and park appropriately. That will take the burden off of our residents and off of our employees having to ticket.
Let's see, we got a couple other questions here. Someone wants to know how to get one of the rooms that the seniors use for bingo temperature adjusted. I will talk with Jonathan Zamora, our head of nutrition and senior program, about that. Thank you for the heads up. He runs a show over there, and if they're not comfortable, they should talk with him. We have a gentleman writing in basically saying they like the new snow standards and appreciate that action by the city council. They think that it's improved the city, so thank you for that.
It's great.
Another question is actually about Christmas tree collection, and I'm not sure. I had asked the DPW for clarification on that. We'll put that up on Facebook if there's a pickup for Christmas trees planned right now. Mayor, are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of it. There normally is, but we'd have to check with Chris to see what's going on.
Yeah, I'll make a plan to put on Facebook a message about how to get rid of your Christmas tree. People are taking them down, taking the ornaments off, and so on. And then there's more chatter about parking, not parking on sidewalks, and then the no parking zones being respected. Obviously, we enforce hydrants. It's amazing. You go to the beach shopping center, the fire zone's there. People parking there all the time. We can have a police officer there all day long giving out tickets. As soon as they leave, people will stack up in the fire zone again. It's just, there seems to be this kind of endless demand for illegal parking, basically. So we appreciate those comments. It is important, particularly so our fire trucks can get through an emergency, things like that.
Yeah, it's not that we don't want people to park. It's a safety issue.
Yeah. So thanks for those are the comments that we have so far, Mayor. I don't see anything else on here. If we've covered topics to your satisfaction, we can close things out.
I think we're good. Thank you so much, Andy.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll talk next week online again. Okay.
All right. Have a good day.
Thanks. Have a great day. Stay warm. Chilly out there.
Cold, not chilly, cold.